When people do call for peace, they are shot down on the international stage very, very quickly. 30 elected members of the Democrat Party, Congress people, had sent a letter this week, an initial letter, calling on the President, Biden, to put pressure on Ukraine and Russia to come to a negotiated settlement. This happened because a number of high-profile so-called progressive Democrats were heckled in public, and the videos went right around the world, and they were quite embarrassed about it. So this letter went out asking the President to put pressure and seek negotiations between the United States and Russia, I think the letter in fact said. That letter has been recalled. Just have a look at this. Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair statement on Ukraine letter. And the important part is the Congressional Progressive Caucus hereby withdraws its recent letter to the White House regarding Ukraine. The letter was drafted several months ago, but unfortunately was released by staff without vetting. I think that's just a pitiful excuse, really. They come under severe pressure within the Democratic Party and outside of the Democratic Party, and they capitulated. But they're not the only ones. We already know that the Irish president's wife, when she sent a letter or made a public letter calling for peace, she was hounded and attacked from all sides and all corners, both nationally and internationally. We know that lots of well-known personalities have been put on kill lists. We also know that Elon Musk was put on a kill list for 15 minutes. And Elon Musk has now been threatened with an investigation into his business just after he calls for peace negotiations with Russia. So there's a lot of pressure there, and it's still happening. The Romanian defense minister had to resign under pressure after Ukraine comment. So Romania's defense minister made a public comment that this war would most probably end in a negotiated settlement and that Ukraine would have to make some concessions. Since that, a few days later, he's gone. He's had to resign. I've never seen the likes of this before in my life. But there are people, big and small, who are willing to challenge the narrative and who are willing to insist that our leaders, if you want to call them that, and our politicians insist on peace. Here's a video of a man heckling Congresswoman Warren, Elizabeth Warren, and also a couple of members of that so-called progressive pact within the Democratic Party.
Senator, you have got to stop funding a Nazi-infested Ukrainian regime. You are bringing us to the brink of nuclear war. You have got, those billions could be used for a lot of good things here in the U.S. Instead of funding Nazis in Ukraine, they're preparing a dirty bomb to detonate and blame on Russia.
This is not why we're here today.
I am here to make sure that billions of lives are saved instead of getting into a nuclear war.
And so it goes on for a short while. He held his ground. He wasn't alone. There was a number of people there with him, supporting him. And there are more and more incidents like this on an almost daily basis with high-profile politicians in the Democratic Party. And it's good to see. It's getting out there. It's getting shared around the world. Just before we move forward with this story, I just did miss one more headline. In Germany, so it's not just high-profile people that are being lambasted and attacked and defamed quite often and being accused of being Russian spies and things like that. In Germany, a man was fined 4,000 euros for hanging a Russian Z sign in his car. He did this last March, and he received a fine of 4,000 euros in a Hamburg court. But as I said, there are people like this gentleman who's standing up. We also have the Prime Minister of Norway, who made a statement this week to the effect, clearly to the effect, that isolating Russia is not helping the situation, and that maybe we need to warm our relations with Russia, not isolating.
Сообщения российского руководства свидетельствуют о том, что Россия движется к долгосрочному разрыву с Западом. Но изолированная Россия – это плохая новость. Настораживает, что сегодня так мало контактов и прямого общения с Россией. Это ослабляет возможность достижения переговоров о завершении войны. И это может повысить вероятность эскалации и применения более жестких мер. Больше разрушений, больше страданий.
And so the Prime Minister of Norway was brave enough to stand up and make those comments. I wonder how long he'll last before he's gone as well. Do you have any comments on any of this, Bodrick?
But the guy you were showing there that was making comments at an open forum event, like they're quite moderate, like really, like anybody calling for peace traditionally was, you know, the least provocative in society, and now it seems to be turned on its head.
Seems to be a lot being turned on its head. Marine Le Pen of the National Front, one of the largest parties in France, has also made a statement to the effect that the sanctions against Russia are useless. She went on to say that it was, again, as most people, I think, at least in the secret back room, will admit that the sanctions are actually hurting us more than they're hurting Russia. Russia came out of recession, I believe, last week. This is a video of the former head of Israel's Mossad. His name is Yaakov Kedmi. And although I have no love or grow for Mossad in any way, these are his comments with regards to his thoughts on President Zelensky of Ukraine.
Учитывая то, что буквально завтра начинается еврейский Новый год, я вас хочу поздравить с этим праздником и пожелать вам всего самого хорошего. Вопрос у меня такой: а вот что бы вы на этот год, еврейский Новый год, пожелали Владимиру Александровичу Зеленскому? С какими словами вы бы его поздравили?
Я отношусь к нему как к самому мерзкому, самому подлому представителю моего народа, который строит свою карьеру, поддерживая тех, которые являются продолжателями тех, кто уничтожали наш народ. Если бы он был украинец, я бы к нему относился, так же, как я отношусь к Степану Бендере или к другому, к Петлюре или к другому. Но поскольку он еврей, и у меня к нему требования другие. Это позор моего народа. Это позор, который никогда он не смоет. Ни с себя, ни своей семьи. Он плюнул на могилу своего народа, убитого его нынешними, те, кто его поддерживает. Он плюнул на могилу своего деда, который воевал против нацистов. Поэтому у меня с ним расчет не как с политиком, а как еврея с евреем, как еврея, который помогал душителям, губителям моего народа, и который сейчас стоит на их стороне. У нас с этим свои счеты.
Very, very strong words from the former head of Israel's Mossad.